What is up, North Nation, and happy Friday morning. It is February the 19th, and I'm your principal, Mr. Mosier. Let's start today with birthdays. It is Adeline Jordan's birthday today. Adeline, happy birthday to you. Hope you make it fantastic. Also, it is a continuation of Black History Month. Yesterday and today, we are celebrating Black musicians. Yesterday, we had Chuck Berry. Hopefully, you asked your parents or grandparents about Chuck Berry, and they told you all about him. Today, we're going to do B.B. King, who is another person who is a little bit older and probably your parents or your grandparents would be able to tell you a little bit more about. B.B. King is basically credited with starting the electric blues phase. He faced a lot of discrimination growing up in Mississippi. He went on tour with the Rolling Stones and the band U2, inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame in 1984, and he even has a day in Mississippi named after him. February 15th is B.B. King Day down in Mississippi. One of the things I want to highlight about both B.B. King and Chuck Berry is that they faced a lot of difficulties being Black in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and they didn't quit when they faced these challenges and difficulties. They were able to overcome them and become world-renowned musicians in different eras. So B.B. King, more of a blues focused musician. Chuck Berry, the king and the father of rock and roll. So today, B.B. King, yesterday, Chuck Berry, celebrating Black musicians. I want to remind you that softball tryouts start next week, February 22nd at Middle School Central from 6 to 8. Make sure you enter in the back of the building if you are going to softball tryouts. And remember, that is just for 7th and 8th grade. Same thing with baseball as far as only being for 7th and 8th grade. Baseball starts on Tuesday of next week at 3:30 at Middle School South. So make sure that you have everything that you need, your water, wear a mask, have long pants. Be working inside until the weather permits you to go outside, and we will have a shuttle bus if you're interested in baseball, 7th and 8th graders, that will take you on Tuesday from Middle School North to Middle School South after school. Give some staff shout outs, both of them from Alexis Flood. Thank you very much, Alexis. For Mr. Scud, she says, I love going to his class Mondays and Tuesdays because he makes everything he teaches fun. And I love how he has a special bond with all of his students. Hopefully I can have him next year. Well, Alexis, I don't know if we're going to have Mr. Scuds teach 8th grade next year, but I do agree that he does do a really good job of building bond with his students. Another shout out to Mrs. Crum because she's not as strict as other teachers, and I love the trust she has built with her students, and I agree with that as well. So thank you very much, Alexis. I'm actually going to give a little shout out to Alexis, who is on our Superintendent Advisory Council, and I got an email yesterday from our superintendent saying how well all of our students did on that council. So shout out to Alexis and the other two people we have representing Middle School North on the Superintendent Advisory Council. I also want to give a shout out to Devontae Smith. Yesterday, Devontae Smith did a good job of not letting one bad part of his day take over his whole day. So shout out to Devontae Smith for persevering yesterday through a minor difficulty and not letting it ruin his whole day. All right, remember, if you want to send shout outs, you can do that to myself or Mr. Bryson, or if you have questions that you'd like for us to ask. We haven't gotten any questions in a while. So if you have any questions that you want myself or Mr. Bryson to answer on the announcements, go ahead and send that to either one of us through email. I also want to remind you that makeup pictures. So we had makeup pictures yesterday for our Group B students. Our Group A students, your makeup pictures are on Tuesday from 8:30 to 11:30. And we will call you down for those. CDA students, you can come in during those times as well. So if you're a CDA student and you want to come in the building to get your picture taken, just have your parents bring you. It'll only take a few minutes. We'll move you right to the front of the line if there is one, and we'll get your picture taken. But remember, that's only from 8:30 to 11:30 in the morning. You can also submit CDA students your pictures to Mrs. Snyder at mary.snyder@gocruisers.org. Remember, that should only be a headshot, so from your neck on up. All right, and just like I said yesterday, don't forget to be awesome today. Do something nice for someone else. Go the extra step in a class, being a friend, being a son or a daughter, whatever the case may be. Have a wonderful weekend, a fantastic Friday, and as always, it is great to be a cruiser.